I had, did I have a coffee here? Oh, there it is. Yes.
We're going to take our blankets upstairs.
Oh, okay. Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Hey guys.
What's up?
Oh, all's good.
Those are black AirPods, or there's something different?
No, they're fakos. I keep losing them, so I just buy the cheapos.
Might as well. They'll work the same, no?
They're fine. The last pair of Apple earbuds I had, it was on the Stairmaster, and I don't know what I did. Like I leaned one way or another, and it fell into the Stairmaster and crunch.
Oh, crunch.
That was it.
That's it. Okay. That's how it goes.
Mm.
I usually step on mine. I fall asleep and then crunch. Oh, there it is.
Why did you do this?
Hello.
How are you?
Hey, everybody. Hi, George.
I heard him.
I went last night to see this movie on Nova. Ugh.
Oh, that's awful.
It is.
I know it's important, but that's rough.
Oh, I'm still struggling.
Where'd you see it?
It was at the Saban Theater.
Uh-huh.
And it was a mixed
Did
crowd.
they get a big crowd, George?
We pretty much filled the whole thing. And
all Jews, any goyim?
A few goyim. Some of the city representatives came. It's interesting to see that.
The mayor went or no?
No, the mayor wasn't there. But it's interesting to see they had two girls who were survivors.
Oh.
And
yeah, I met a girl from LA who survived. Was in the hospital when we were in Tel Aviv a few weeks ago.
When you talk with these people, you realize, I mean, this was horrible. I mean, they were being hunted down like animals.
Yeah, she got her knee. The girl got her knee blown out, but she somehow survived. Cassie wanted to hear the whole story, but I just didn't want to press her. She said it so many times.
Were there any protesters there?
No, but they had extensive security. I mean, there must have been like 6 security guys outside. So I think that's a little bit discouraging in that they're not going to be able to close the entrance off and things like that.
Uh-huh.
So
was Gal Gadot there?
I'm sorry. It was from. That's why I wasn't with you guys last night. Was
Gal Gadot
there? We had dinner there, so they had some food from Pat's, and they started it at at 5, and then they let you in at 6. Then it's in association with this synagogue that's associated with the movie industry. So they had some people. But the good news is that it doesn't matter which line it's coming from Reform, Orthodox, Conservative. Everybody's vehement that Israel has to have the right to destroy Hamas, and I like that.
Yeah.
I think
the only person that's vehement about that I've heard is Trump.
No. No, I mean among the Jews.
From the Jewish community.
Yeah, the Jewish community.
There's so many left-wing Jews. They're protesting against Israel in Minnesota.
Yeah. Oh, no.
We think of them as Meshuggah, but they're out there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. No, but I was saying here, this was a
at the program.
At the program, it was a mixture of people from every denomination, and the fact that we're all united in this, it was very important.
You know that I
I didn't mean to take time out for anything.
No, there's a urologist who's in my large group who works in San Diego, who has created these webinars about combating anti-Semitism on campuses, because he's partially a professor at UC San Diego. So he asked me to connect him to the chairman of urology at UCLA, Mark Litwin, who was my chairman. I was in the department as an assistant professor for many years. And so I connected him, and Mark Litwin sends me an email today. And remember, Harold and I went to UCLA 35 years ago. It was called JewCLA, not UCLA, because there were 9,000 Jewish students out of 27,000. Today, Mark Litwin said that the campus voted a few days ago to join BDS. I don't think it's even in the news. That means
all of the universities vote. All the kids vote, and then the administration usually overrides.
So the UCLA campus, no, the faculty, they voted that they're going to be boycotting Israel. And he said there was nothing we could do as faculty members against this onslaught.
I don't buy that.
What, you think there was something they could do?
I do.
His son fights.
I think that the faculty,
his son
is an exception. I think faculty at most universities is extremely left. Who else goes into academia? Only left. Nobody on the right. Everyone in the right.
But he's a doctor.
Medicine.
Ken, I think that, I've been looking at this. I teach at UCLA, and I'm feeling the pressure, and I see what's going on. I think that the only way we're going to win this battle is when the universities begin to have their pocketbooks affected, and the federal government starts cutting funding.
Qatar and Saudi and Kuwait, they've been setting up and funding these universities with professors and what do you call it, chairs and departments and divisions, and getting auxiliary programs in the Middle East. They are way more wealthier than all the Jews.
No. That's not what I'm talking about, Ken.
He said the federal government.
The federal government needs to do this. We can't.
The Democratic Party is not interested. They are woke. They are left. They are appealing to the left. It's over, boys.
Guys,
okay.
can you learn?
Let's learn.
Okay, Vav Amad Aleph. Elahada Rav Nachman Mashbino Sushvos Hesed. We're dealing with this issue of if you are suspected about money, why should we believe you when you take an oath? And in fact, the Gemara, we learned a few days ago that if Reuven says to Shimon, "You owe me $100," and Shimon denies it completely, he doesn't admit to any of it. He denies it completely. We said, even though in Torah there's no shvuah taken, the Chachamim institute a shvuah hesed. So the Gemara says, what do you mean? Name of the chashav mamon, chashav shvuasa. Why are we making him take a shvuah? Because we're suspicious that he's stealing money, that the guy loaned him $100 and he's denying it. So why don't we say, someone who's suspected about money issues should not be believed if he takes a shvuah. And therefore, we should not have him take a shvuah. Question number one, Basu. And another question. Hadatani Rav Chia, we had a case of a employer who told his employee, I will pay your wages by sending you to the grocery. He will give you $100 worth of groceries, and I will pay him the $100. And each one, so the grocer says, I gave the $100. So he goes, I gave the $100 worth of groceries. So he comes to the balabais to demand $100. And the employee says, he never gave me any groceries. And he comes to the balabais for $100. So we learned, Shneim nishboin, v'noitlim balabais. They take an oath, and each one collects $100 from the balabais. Now, one of them is lying. They both can't be telling the truth. Either the grocer gave him the groceries and the guy's lying about it, or he didn't give him the groceries and the other guy's lying about it. So then why should we have them take a shvuah? Name amigu de choshen mamoyna choshen shvuasa. If you're suspected about money, we shouldn't trust your shvuah. So that's question number two. And now comes question number three. The Su hash dam Rav Sheshes. Shalosh shavuos mashbian oisoi. So if you give to a friend something to watch and he's not paying you, you don't have to pay him. So he's a shomer china. And then he claims, the shomer claims, that the object that was given to him was stolen. So, okay, he's potter as long as he takes the following three oaths. He has to say, Shvur shelo pashati ba. He has to say, I was not negligent in how I watched it, the item. I didn't just leave it out in the street. I was careful. I was not negligent. He has to take a Shvur shelo shalachti bo yad. The Torah says that the shomer has to say, I didn't use it myself. Ushvur she'ena b'shusi. And he has to take a shvur that I don't physically have it right now. Now, we're suspected that maybe the shomer has done something improper with this object. So he's suspected about money issues. So name him migu de chashira b'moyna chashra shvuasa. Why should we let him take a shvua? So based on this, we say, Lo amrina migu de chashra b'moyna chashra shvuasa.
And this is a shvua d'oraisa?
Say it again.
This is a shvua d'oraisa?
No, the Rabbanan.
Because if it's only the Rabbanan, are we sure that he wouldn't be chashid? I mean, d'oraisa, you got to bring the Sefer Torah, and it's the whole big thing. But I didn't know that a person that we would say this migo if it was only a shvua d'Rabbanan.
Remember, Rav Nachman, Mashvin Oisoi Shvua says that of course that's a shvua d'Rabbanan. Remember we said Minat Torah, there's no shvua. But
I just thought we said before this in the Gemara that when we had a shvua d'Rabbanan, that this migo is the chashida mamona. He is chashida shvua because it's not such a serious shvua. When we had Gilgul shvua.
No, a shvua the people, all of the issues that we have with shvuos, the people didn't make a distinction between shvuos d'oraisa and shvuos d'Rabbanan. We need to know because there are certain penalties, whatever. But
Ernie, I want to ask you whether they have as afraid of a shvua d'Rabbanan as they were of a shvua d'oraisa. We know that people are very nervous to make a shvua. So make it nervous to make a shvua. The question is, are they as nervous to make a shvua d'Rabbanan as they would be to make a...
Yes. This Rav Sheshes, this is the din of Rav Sheshes.
Yeah, I know.
Shalosh shvuos are rabbinic. And the same thing about the Chenveni and the Poel, and the same thing with Rav Nachman. Yes, the moide b'mikvahs is a shvua deraisa, but the people were very low to take any kind of shvua, including shvua d'rabbanan, and we would be choshid as well. So based on these three cases, we obviously lo amrina migu d'chashav amon chashav shvuasa. We're not choshid on people who are choshid on mammon. We allow them to take a shvua. It's clear from these three cases. However, Abaya Omar, that these three cases cannot prove the general issue about choshid mamon and choshid on shvua. Because we can say like this. In each one of these cases, where the shomer held on to the object and said, I don't have it, it was stolen. Perhaps Reuven, who gave the object to Shimon, owes Shimon money from a previous loan. And maybe Shimon has had a problem collecting it. So Shimon is holding on to the object as repayment of his debt. So we're not these cases, he's not really a gazlan. And that's why he's nemen on these shvuas. Because there's an ulterior reason to why he's keeping the object, which doesn't make him a gazlan. Well, the Gemara says, if that's the case, that you're worried about an old loan that we don't know about, why take any shvua? Nishkol below shvua. Let him just take it, which is a payment of a previous chov. Ella, it's not that it's for sure. We're in doubt. He himself is mesupik. He's not clear whether the guy's chayv, but he has a suffix. He says, meanwhile, I'll keep the object until we clarify, does he owe me money? Does he owe me money or not? Now, we can ask on that teretz, the lava mina and tofis mamoina misfeka. A person is allowed to grab if he's mesupik. Mishtabenami misopik. So then he should take a shavua, even on the Safi case. So Amrav Sheshes Breder Avidi, Parshi Inshi Misafik Shvua, Velo Parshi Misafik Mamona. People stayed away from even taking a shvua with a suffix, but they're not staying away from possible money that they could keep, which does not belong. That means they'll hold. They're in doubt whether the guy owes them money. If in the doubt, they're going to keep the object, but they're not going to take a shvu out of doubt. My taima, this is maybe what Walter was asking. Maman isa b'chazor. You can always give the money back. Let's say he does the investigation and he finds that the guy didn't owe him money. So eventually he gives the item back. Shvu lesser b'chazora. Once you take a shvu, you can't take it back. So that's the svora behind why there's really no correlation between the suffix, somebody who's suspected about being not honest about money, and we still allow him to take a shvu. Okay. New sugya. Boy Rab Zera. Tokfa echad b'fanenu ma'u. The Masechta started, two people are holding on to a garment, each one claiming it's theirs. And then, in front of Bezdin, one of the guys pulls the garment from the other guy, and now he's holding on to the whole garment himself. But he did it in front of us. He walked in together, one of them grabbed it. Hechidom. The shasik, if the guy it was grabbed from him is quiet, so maybe oidi oidile. He's admitting that it doesn't belong to him and it belongs to the other guy. Idikot tzavach, if he's yelling, ma'avle lemevit. So what is he supposed to do? just because he's yelling, the other guy has the item. So lo tzricha de shasik mikara. The case is he was initially quiet, and then later on he protested. My. Do we say midi ishtik? From the fact that initially he was quiet, oidu oidele, he's admitting that it's not his. And only later on he's regretting. Oidil makiven de kotzovachasha, now that he's yelling, because he gloy milsa the shasik mikara, it's now apparent to him that the fact that he was quiet initially, why was that? Kachazule Rabbana. He saw, listen, this is being done for the Bezdin. Why should I scream? Why should I say anything? It was done if they saw it. So what's the answer? On Rav Nachman, Toshma. Bamed Varmamorim, when do we say, like in our Mishnah, that they each take a shvua and they divide the garment? That's kishishneim adukimbo. Each one is still holding it. But if one of the parties are now holding on to the garment by themselves, so if the other guy wants it, he has to bring proof, because possession is 99% of ownership. If there's no evidence, it's going to stay with the person who's machzik. Now, hechi dami, how did that work? So, if you're telling me one guy is holding on to it, so pshita that it's motze mechaver lava raya. Well, that's the normal case. Rather, it's a case of takva echad b'fanenu. Both of them were holding on to the garment. They come into Bezdin that way, and then one of them grabs it in front of Bezdin. So what's the answer to that? So lo achmaiskinon can go also come on kidit fisule tarvai. They came into court, both of them holding on to the garment. V'amrin and lehuzilu plugi. And Bezdin says to them, okay, go and divide it. V'nafku, they went out. V'hadar also kitafis lechad minau. When they came back, one of them has got all of it. The one holding on to it, hi Omar oidu oiduli. The other guy admitted that it belonged to me. V'hai Omar, the one that's not holding it, bidmei agarti niyala. I rented him the half that wasn't mine. But I didn't give up my ownership in it. The amrin onlay. So in this case, Bezdin will say, up until now, you thought that the guy who's holding on to it was a gazlin. So they don't believe the guy's story that he rented it, because why would you rent it to him without aid when you were worried that he was a gazlin? V'boy sema kidiktani. Dasal kaman kitovus lechad minayu. V'irich misru barsruchi. One of them is holding on to the garment only. The other one is sort of schlepping with just a piece of it. Vafilu l'sumchas. That normally, he said, that if there's a debate about money, who owns it, you divide it without a shvua. If someone's just sort of barely hanging on, even sumchas wouldn't hold that you divide that. So we don't really answer Rav Zeib. However,
I don't have my.
Im timtzeloymar toch va'echad b'fanenu motzino samiyado. If the case is that both of them were holding on to the garment and one of them grabbed it. So what about the case if Higdisha, he was magdish the garment to the base of Mikdash? Eina mukdeshes. So it's not Makudish because we don't know for sure that it belongs to that person. But imtim Saloimar, if we hold that, if one of the parties grabs it, and the halach is that we don't take it away from him, then what's the case of higdisha below sakfamo? What if he was magdish it without grabbing it? So he didn't grab it, but he was magdish it. The Amar Mar, amirasol legavor k'msirasol lehedyatami. Giving something by mouth to the base of Midrash is like giving it to somebody else, like a zakinyan. So does the Hegdish process work here? Oh, maybe since he didn't grab it, and the ownership is not completely his. And what does it say in the pasuk? Ish ki yagdish is beso kodesh lashem. Ma beso b'shuso. I've called over shu b'shuso. What can you be magdish to the base of it? Something that you own, just like your bias. Your bias is yours. Such a thing you could be magdish. La fukehai, which would exclude this case, shelo b'shuso, in a case where it's not completely his. Okay, I'm going to stop here. I have a whole crowd here in my house ready for the Tzur Bashir. So we have to do a blot and a half tomorrow. And I will call back in about 3 minutes at 7.
Good
Good night,
Hello, Yaakov.